Hello, 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 and good morning to everybody. So, today on my live, I'm going to take another chapter of my book, The Power of Intent. And today's one is speech, a thing we all do and none of us actually know how to do properly. Um, so I want to take on today a little bit about how the words that we use are so vitally important. The other day, we spoke about the 3 steps of creation: thought, word, action. Um, And there's a lot around word. There's a lot around how to take what's in your mind and bring it out into this reality. And that's what we want to talk about today, because language and the way we use our words with mannerisms and with habits and with what's cool in the world and all these kind of things causes us to mismanifest. It causes us to create the things we are not actually trying to create. Because as we spoke about already, you manifest and create all the time on autopilot. And half the time you don't even see it as manifesting as creating, because we are so programmed to look at that big item, that money factor, love factor, abundance, happiness, that we don't realize that every single moment of every single day, we are actually taking things from in here and we are manifesting them into our world. And speech is the big thing where those things get, where you don't speak the same words as your intent carries with what you want to create. And that's where the key comes in with why I'm talking about this today specifically for the power of intent, because a lot of the time we get our intent right. We know why we're doing something or what the reason is behind it and what the outcome will be. And then we go and screw it up with the words that we use or the actions we take. It's like if you look at body language, for instance, if you ask somebody a question, a simple, um, do you like swimming in the summer? And they're going to go, yeah, I love swimming in the summer. It's the best thing out there. So why'd you shake your head no when you started the conversation? So is that a lie? Is that person lying to themselves? Are they trying to be liked because they thought you're a summer person? Those kind of things is what we do, but we do it with words. Um, Somebody asks you, how's it going today? No, it's going good. Why do you start your sentence with a no? You take into the conversation process the following factor. One, languages were created and designed to cause confusion, to cause miscommunication, so we do not understand each other. English in itself has got innuendo, double meaning, irony, words that are spelled exactly the same way but gets pronounced differently and mean different things. So how do we use these things called words to manifest if it's such an obscure, chaotic thing? Then you put into action as well that your brain doesn't understand negative affirmations or negative words, in the sense of, there's a specific word for it. My language knowledge is disappointing me a bit here, but it's called, I don't know if it's called the negative infliction or what. It's something where you use the negative to say, like, for instance, I hope it does not rain. The does not or the doesn't, the not part of that, your brain doesn't compute, it doesn't understand, it doesn't manifest that part. So now you go, I hope it does not rain. What the brain hears is, I hope it does rain. So that's what you're manifesting. Now you're manifesting the opposite of what you're hoping for. Where if you use a positive way of speaking, if I can call it that, it would be more functional for the outcome for you to say, I hope the sun shines this afternoon. Because now your intent, your hope, and your manifestation is all in line. So there's a lot of things that we are programmed, and then we we get to that point where, with the programming itself, you are programmed to say certain things certain ways, because of culture, because of the shows you watch, because of what people think is the in thing to say. Back in the days, cool was cool. Now fat is cool and sick is good. But what are the energy vibrations you are putting out into the universe? Using a word that is designed with the intent and the energy vibration of illness being the word sick, for instance. I want to tackle that one. What is sick? Sick means you are ill. Sick means you are throwing up. Sick means you are not well. It's not a positive word, or it's a word that doesn't describe positive things or a positive state of being. Now you look at something positive, something beautiful, and you go, oh, that's so sick. Doesn't matter how you say it, the vibration and the energy you put towards that thing that you're pointing to, saying, that is so sick, that thing gets that vibration of sick. Then we get to the misinterpretation or the miscomprehension, the misprogramming, the misinformation about swear words or curse words, labeled incorrectly there. That's why I'm using air quotes. Words like fuck and all the others. Who decided they're bad words? The vibration behind them, the intent behind them, the way they were created did not make them aggressive or negative words. If we just look at fuck, for instance, it is actually an anagram which stands for fornication under the consent of the king. Because in the old days, before you could fornicate, you needed the consent of the king, which means you needed to get married before you can sleep with your wife or your lover, which means you could only fuck after you married. Fornicate under the consent of the king. But that got turned into an ugly word, got turned into something that's got a negative connotation to it, and our kids are told not to say it. And why? Has anybody ever asked you why fuck is an ugly word? Have you ever had an answer besides I was taught it is? Why is it an ugly word? What we should be focusing on more so is actual curse words, words that were created to curse. Now, a curse word and a swear word is not the same thing. A swear word is something mankind decided means something beyond what it actually means, and it's an ugly word and you shouldn't say that. Where a curse word is a curse designed to curse. And one of the most thrown out there curse words that I will use very briefly here today, that has been made mannerism by popular American TV, is the word damn. They say it to everything. God, I'm so lucky with this. Or, was that an exciting match? You better believe it was. And it's become such a slang, such a mannerism, and it's made and designed, and we are programmed to do it and use it that way because the true nature of that word, the energy it contains, if you're not referring to a body of water, that is, it is a curse that was spoken out by powerful beings from the start of our civilizations and before that. On a spiritual level, the full curse is, damn that thing or being or whatever you're pointing this curse to, damn it to hell for all eternity. Now think about that sentence for a minute. I will say it one more time, and that will be the last time I speak it. Whatever you are putting the curse on, you will, the energy behind it, by just saying, oh, that's a damn beautiful car, you are saying, damn that car to hell for all eternity. That's the energy you're putting on that vehicle that you are now admiring. Right? That's a curse word. That's the energy it takes. And then we try and manifest. You stub your toe. 2 days ago, I kicked something very hard accidentally and almost broke my toe. It's sore. We get angry. And what do? We go, that hurt. You just sent your toe to hell for all eternity in pain by going, dang, that hurt. Or, oh, geez, dang it, I stubbed my toe again. Dang it. Right? You're cursing yourself over and over and over. You're not just cursing yourself, you're cursing others. That beautiful car over there. Right? You're trying to emphasize how beautiful it is, but you're doing it by cursing it to hell for all eternity. And then we wonder, why is our lives in shambles? I'm a good person. I don't do things wrong. Always feel like, oh, somebody's out to get me. Somebody's got a curse on me. What? Yeah, you are cursing yourself. That's just one of the big words. That's one thing that I do not tolerate in my presence. Nobody in my presence uses that word. If you use it, I will take you on. My family doesn't speak that word because we know what it means. We know the energy behind it. So why should you? And that's just one of many curse words we use on a daily basis. The energy we send out. There are people that road rage, for instance, driving along the N1 with Jesus in your heart, loving the music, loving the sky, loving everything, peak traffic, but you're making the best of it. Here we go. And a guy cuts in front of you. The words we use towards that guy, fuck you, buddy, and with the intent behind it, and your mother's an asshole, and whatever. And we project all these negative energy towards this person. And you know what? That person might not have done it on purpose. You don't know. That person might not even know that you're cursing at him. So now you're affected negatively. You're putting negative things on that person. And all of that energy that we speak has to go somewhere. It has to manifest something, right? Now you can argue, yeah, but that guy should have checked and he just swerved in front of me and it almost caused an accident. And fair enough. Doesn't happen. Does it happen every single day? Is it the same guy in big traffic every day you go to work that cuts in front of you to target you specifically? What about the moments you did it by accident? The moment where you were like driving in big traffic, you were late for work, you frazzled, you whatever, you go, oh, here's a gap, you quickly take the gap. Now you're the guy cutting in. You're the guy in the front. And what happens? The guy behind you is cursing you, swearing at you. You're sitting there going, oh, thank you very much. Meanwhile, that oak is telling you all kinds of bad things and putting bad mojo on you. And then the rest of your day is crap. Why? Because somebody else used words to put curses on you without knowing that they're using curses. Because when we speak, we are manifesting. We are doing magic. That's why they call it spelling, guys. Because you are casting a spell. You are using a spell every time you speak words. And when you hit those specific words with those specific vibrations in specific circumstances, that's when a spell manifests like magic. That's where magic comes from. Think about this. I'm lately playing Minecraft with my daughter. And there's a functionality, now I know very little about Minecraft, but there's a functionality which is called commands. You press a button, and then you can type a command in to change the weather or to make it from day to night or teleport to your friend or whatever the case may be. But how many times have I played with her and it starts going dark, we don't want the monsters in the dark, we want to make it day. I go in, I type, but I type too fast. And instead of putting the correct command in, I swap two words or something, or I misspell one or whatever. What happens? It doesn't work. Now you've got to go in and do it again. Now I've got to focus. Okay, what are enter, boom, there it works. Now speaking works exactly the same in this reality of ours, right? Let's say you can't take something back once you've said it, which is true, because once you brought it from your mind space into this reality, then it's in this reality. Then you can't take it back. The vibration has affected things. The energy behind it, the physical form of breath that goes out of your mouth to the spiritual frequencies on dimensions that we're not even aware of, moving quantum particles, it's out, it's happened, you've created. And that then has a knock-on effect, whether you now believe in the butterfly effect or in causality or whatever else you want to utilize, but that does something, right? There's that age-old saying when they say, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's around to hear it, does it still make a sound? Yes. Just because nobody heard it doesn't mean that energy vibration has not occurred. It does not mean that that energy vibration didn't have a ripple effect on things around it. Even if there was no one around to hear it, there might have been a rock sitting on another rock, balancing for eons and eons and eons. And that sound vibration that goes out because a tree fell could have knocked that rock off the other rock, knocked its vibration off. So regardless if somebody heard it or not, Once sound, once words are being spoken in this reality, it can't be taken back. So be careful of the words that you use. Think about the words that we use. We've covered also one of the things is when it comes to manifesting, you shouldn't use the word want, because if you say to the universe, I want something, what's the universe going to do? It's going to leave you wanting. Change just that simple word want in every sentence that you would use it before to the word choose. I don't want a good life. I choose a good life. I don't want abundance. I choose abundance. I don't want a happy family. I choose a happy family. You feel how that energy already changes with what you're saying just by changing one word. Now, if you can sit and you can figure out all the correct words to use in the correct way, you can command your reality like you could do a command instruction in a game, a cheat code. There are many cheat codes, but the vibration behind it, the inflection behind it, the way it's said, some cheat codes only work in Hebrew because that's how they were created or designed. Some are only functional and angelic. When it comes to English and stuff, we have to be so careful, or French or Afrikaans or whatever, so careful how you say, what you say, with the intent behind it before you say it, so that when you say it, you don't screw things up for yourself or for others. Oh, Mario, I don't care about others. Fair enough. But you can't show others something better if you can't manifest and do it yourself first. I remember when I was young, I'm talking about 19, 20, 21 years old, I came to this conclusion of how powerful words are. I mean, even the Bible warns us. It says, put a guard in front of your tongue. Now, as a Christian, when I grew up as a youngster, I thought that meant, oh, you can't use swear words. You can't talk blasphemous about God, or that's the guard you have to put in front of your tongue. But what the Bible truly means is that every single word that passes through your mouth, you should guard, contemplate, make sure the intent behind it is accurate and that the words you use depict that intent perfectly. That's what it means. And when I realized this, my early 20s, late teens, I got fearful. I got so scared of speaking. So scared of speaking that I was for a long time seen as a heavy introvert, somebody that didn't socialize much, because even if we're at social gatherings, I'm not I'm the quiet one. And it wasn't because of social anxiety. It wasn't because of being introverted. It was because of understanding the words that I use, specifically when I'm drunk, specifically when I'm angry, specifically when I'm excited, like all those high emotions or inebriated or stuff. When you don't have control of yourself, you blurt things out. Those are the important ones that we miss and the ones we screw up all the time. So I was quiet. I spoke when I had something valuable to say. And even then, I picked my words. So I spoke slowly to make sure that every single word is used in alignment with my intent. Now, you can imagine that also got me some weird looks until I started getting better at processing the thought of intent through the speech of words better, where I can get into a normal speech pattern, but still think of every single word that I'm saying before I say it. I also make mistakes still. I also sometimes get tired, or, you have a little bit of weed to chill out and you're just laughing and saying things you don't remember the next day, or you get too much beer in your system, or we're not perfect, but I can say at least that 90% of the words that I use are thought of before I use them. I don't just say them to say them. I think about the implications they have. I think about what these words will do to others who hear them. If saying this, is it going to make that person angry? And then if so, is that my intent to make that person angry? And if it isn't, then why am I saying it in the first place? Because by saying it, I'm going to save that person's life regardless of that person's angry. Well, now I've got a reason to say it, but otherwise, got 2 ears and one mouth. We're supposed to listen twice as much as we speak. But in modern society, we speak first and last, and have to have the last say and have to be right, without even thinking about what are we trying to be right about. If you're on your way to a cliff in a car and the brakes don't work, what's the most important thing? To be right, the fact that I said you need to check the brakes before we get in the vehicle, which isn't going to do anything to the situation, or to go, regardless if you were right or not, vehicles heading for a cliff, let's jump, right? What words do you use? You have to think about it. You have to use them intentfully, not just talk for talking, right? There's an old, I think it's a Buddhist saying or Shaolin saying, I'm not too sure, but where they say, when you speak, you can only share the information you already have. Right? I'm going to say that again. When you speak, you can only share the information you already have. But when you listen, you can learn something new. So I listened. I was the quiet one. I knew everything that was going on because everybody is so happy to speak. It's amazing how much you can learn from a person if you allow them to speak for 30 minutes on first meeting that person. Hi, I'm Mario. How are you? You good? Fantastic. Who are you? Tell me about yourself. Let them. They tell you everything you need to know about them. But if you're the one doing the talking, you're sharing your information, you're sharing what you know. Sometimes that's important. Other times you're sharing more than you should to people. And they see everything about you and who you are. Right? So think about your words before you use them. Think about what is the reason behind speaking. What is the reason for saying what I'm saying? Who is it affecting? There was also a cute story. I'm not sure if it was Aristotle or one of these old ancient Greek philosophers had a student who ran up to him once and said, teacher, I've got something to tell you. And he stopped the person and he said, okay, hang on, let me first ask you 3 questions before you tell me. Question 1, is what you want to tell me truthful? Not hearsay, not I heard it from someone else, that you witness it yourself. Is it truthful? Can I trust this information you're going to give me? If so, great. If not, I don't want to hear it. The second one is this information going to be harmful to anyone? Even if it is truthful. Or is it going to be uplifting? Because it's going to be harmful, I don't want to hear it. It's going to be uplifting, then fantastic, let's go. And the third question he asks is, does this information have anything to do with me? Right? Is it about another student of mine that I need to go help? Is it about my house, my wife, my income, my philosophy, because if it's got nothing to do with me, I don't want to hear it. So the student turned around in silence and walked away because he wanted to gossip. Right? So what are the things we're putting out there? Why are we putting it out there? Are we gossiping because we want to elevate our own stature, our own standing? Are we tattletaling because we want that person to be diminished in stature? We want to make them feel smaller. Or are we sharing information because it is harmful to our work environment and somebody needs to do something about it to uplift the work environment? Why are you saying the things that you are saying to your wife, to your boss, to your colleagues, to your children, to yourself? Why are you saying it? Does it have to be said? If not, keep quiet. If it has to be said, what's the intent behind it? What are you trying to achieve by saying it? And you need to know this before you say it, so that you can choose the correct words to bring that intent into creation. And that is instant manifestation, people. Right? There's so much around speech. There's a saying that says, my wife loves this, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's exactly what it does with changing the way you speak about these things, because you first have to look at it differently. If it's rainy right now and in an hour I need to go out and work in the garden, I said this before, saying, oh, I hope it stops raining is different to saying, I hope the sun shines. The result in your mind is the same, but the speech and the power of the words is completely different. The one is going to make the sun shine, and the other one is going to make it rain. Right? So you have to look at things differently. You have to change your mental programming and be more conscious, more in the now of what it is you're trying to achieve with using the words that you use. Yo, my sister's little ones are now 4 and 2. And that 2-year-old, I look at her and I go, wow, she is processing so hard in that little brain to use sounds that these big adults can understand in order for me to get what I need out of them. Right? She can't talk full sentences with paragraphs and all kinds of beautiful, amazing English yet. She's learning. And that process of, I want to know if my uncle is going to go with me and my mom and my sister taking us to school today. But as a 2-year-old, she goes, come with, because in her brain, that whole sentence is not possible yet. So what words can I use that will make sense? It makes sense to me. Does it make sense to the adult? We should be like that every single day. We should remember how tough it was and how long we learned to speak in the first place. When you learn a new language, trying to learn Greek or French if it's not your mother tongue, the effort, the thinking process, when you increase and you're talking to a Greek person, you want to go, good morning, how much is this? You have to go through your good morning, Kalimera. I think that's good morning. Yes, it's good morning. How much is this? You know what I'm saying? And then what will happen by taking that thought process, by going, this is the goal. I want to ask this person in a different language. I want to say good morning first. I want to ask, how much is this thing? Because I want to buy this thing and I don't see a price. That's your intent. So you're choosing now the right words in a foreign language to speak to this person to get what you want, to manifest the things you choose. And trust me, you take that effort, that Greek person is going to go, wow, this Englishman is trying to speak my language. I'm going to give him what he wants, right? And the universe is the same way. So why not in your mother tongue as well? Why not think that hard in English or Afrikaans or Xhosa or whatever you speak, American, Indian, whatever your mother tongue is, why don't you take that effort when talking to anyone else? Take that pause. What is the best words I can use? Fewest words I can use to get the desired result I want to get. And then use those words. Instead of just speaking, instead of just having the last say, instead of just repeating what you hear on TV, because that's where confusion comes in. That's where you say something because you're thinking and you're saying what you're thinking instead of thinking about what to say. And the other person's hearing you going, what are you talking about, car pizza? I don't understand car pizza. But meanwhile, in your head, you're going, well, there's pizza in the car. Why are you using the words that you are using? What is your end result? Right? There are many words to watch out for, many curse words we should not speak. There are many bad words that we were told are bad words that they don't want us to use, or that we all get, feel a little good when we use it because it's naughty. I can say fuck as much as I want. That don't have any negative influence on the world around you, but that connotation behind it. So learn about your language. Learn about the words. What do the words mean? Right? We're very blessed that as my daughter goes through school and goes through languages and stuff, she asks me the spelling of things. I go, choose. I'm Afrikaans, my wife's English. She asked me the Afrikaans spelling, but I'm so used to speaking English all the time, I can speak the Afrikaans, but how do I spell it again? On Google, But learn about your words, learn about your languages. What is the inflection behind it? Why is a bad word a bad word? Next time somebody asks you, have you ever thought about the word puss? Why is it a bad word? Because in French, it means cat, and in South Africa, it means something completely different. Why is it a bad word? Wouldn't it be nice to have an answer for that? Wouldn't it be nice to go, well, actually, it isn't, because you are completely right. It means cat. Or fuck is fornicating under consent of the king. Or like not only elevating your own understanding and showing others that I've actually thought about this, but to have that knowledge, to know that I can use the word fuck and it offends people, sure, but it doesn't cause negative energy in my life, creating my life to be more negative than what it currently is. Where the other one does, where curse words do, right? So speech is so important. You can, if you use your words correctly, you can manifest without action. That's how powerful words is. Let that sink in, guys. The process of creating is thought, word, action. But if you utilize your words properly and in the correct order and the right sentences, using the right spells, then you can manifest without action. Speaking the words is action enough. Right? And then think about the following thing. You can save a life with your words. And as powerful as that is, you can kill with your words. Let that resonate for a bit. I'm not saying shooting people. I'm not saying bombs. I'm not saying katanas. I'm not saying mugging. I'm saying with speech, you can cause somebody to lose their life, or you can save a life. That's how powerful it is, guys. It is the tool that is used over life and death in this reality. I was sitting on my Harley one day at a set doing a pickup, and a guy came from the bathrooms, and he was not having a good day. I could see on his face, his energy, the way just everything about this guy was like, this guy has had it. He's done with this shit today. And in my mannerism, he looked up, we locked eyes. So what did I do? I said, good morning. How are you? With a smile on my face. Because I didn't just say, oh, how's it? I thought this guy might need just, I don't know. I opened the door. Good morning, how are you? This oak didn't move his eyes away from mine. He stayed eye locked. He paused in his tracks while busy crossing a street. I mean, there was no traffic or anything, but he walked over to me, and I thought, for my insecurity at the time, because I wasn't part of the crew, this oak is now going to go in the mood that he is, like, oh, what are you doing here? You move this bike, and you're not supposed to be here. And, I was preparing myself for that backlash that we sometimes get when we try and be friendly. And this oak walked over to me, and as he got closer, I saw a tear in his eye, and he said to me, thank you. I said, for what? He said, you are the first person today, and I mean, guys, this was like lunchtime, first person today who's asked me how I am doing today. And it didn't feel like a just greeting. I said, well, it wasn't. I genuinely want to know, how are you today? He said, I'm not good. And I don't know you, and I'm sorry that I'm packing this off on you, but I'm not good. I was stepping out of that bathroom, contemplating getting in my car, driving home, and committing suicide. I said to him, well, then I'm very glad that I said hello. He said, I am too. And he walked away. Now, you can say, oh, Mario, but it was because of your friendly demeanor. You can say, oh, Mario, it was because you were genuine. But if I didn't speak, if I nodded my head or waved at him, or that interaction wouldn't have happened. Now, did the guy finish the day at work and carry on living his life? I don't know. Did he get in his car and go commit suicide? I don't know. But as per the words exchanged, that day, my words in my reality saved their life. Right? There was a situation where we were out camping once, and two friends of mine went swimming in the river. They didn't know the river was as strong as it was that day, because the previous day it was perfectly fine. And the one guy started struggling. He could have not said a thing. He could have been macho and go, I got this, and keep trying to get to the destination, swimming upstream until eventually body gigs in, he goes underwater, and bye-bye. But in that moment, he realized, I am in the deep end right now, literally. And he was like, guy, I need help. I can't anymore. Now, my other friend in front of him was already on the platform, was dead tired himself, couldn't jump in after him. But if he didn't speak up, not just the guy in front of him, but loud enough for us on the shore to hear, I wouldn't have heard it. I did. And even in that moment, you kind of like, is he joking? He's almost there. Is he taking the piss out of it? Is this guy real? So his words got us to take note, pay attention. If my wife didn't use her words, he probably wouldn't have survived either, because my wife was the one who, from her state, went and tapped me and go, he's not kidding, go. And with her saying that, all that processes in my mind of, is the guy joking? Can he make it? He is so close. Oh, he's a fit oak. All these logical things that were going on in my mind, why I was trying to think he didn't need my help, was gone in an instant, because my wife said, go. So in that moment, off with the shirt, drop everything else, into the river. This guy needs assistance. And we got out. We got out of the river, way further downriver, and had a nice journey from there back to the campsite. That involved a lot of interesting things as well. But because of the words, that guy was saved. Yes, Mario, the actions were taken. If you didn't jump in and help him out, and for sure, if he didn't jump in the first place, he would have been stuck in that position. There's a lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas. But the fact is, the way the words were used in that specific sequence in a span of seconds saved his life. Right? The same is true for words killing people. Right? Giving instructions, biggest one to utilize as proof of that is the military. Got a commanding officer that tells his subordinates what to do, and they go do it. They bomb countries. They let loose nukes. They shoot people. Why? Because my superior officer told me to do it. Right? A ceasefire doesn't happen until somebody says cease fire. It doesn't just automatically happen. Right? Actions do a lot, guys. Don't get me wrong. I lost a cousin in the war. And I promise you, he didn't say a thing when he went that route, but his actions saved his commanding officer's life. So actions do mean something, and we'll get into action in one of my chats. But words, guys, I need you to understand how powerful it is for your everyday life, for how you manifest, with the right intent behind it. You can literally use one sentence with a perfectly chosen correct words and create anything you want. Or you can screw up that sentence by misusing one word, one inflection, one comma where it shouldn't be. That won't work. Now, there's no book with all the magic lines. Well, there are books with spells that work. But I mean, there's no handbook for life with every single sentence in the right way that you should use it in every single language with the right vibration to get the things that you want to get. We have to figure that out. Some of us have figured that out. We're teaching others, like I'm teaching you guys. But man, put that guard in front of your tongue. Listen more than you speak. Decide for yourself whether the words you are about to use are going to have the effect that you are choosing it to have. Don't just speak because speaking is speaking. What are you saying? What are you creating with your words? And once you start understanding that and you get into that rhythm and you get in that habit, that mannerism of thinking before you're speaking, choosing your words before you let them out of your mouth, you will be amazed how things will change. And I want to challenge any of you that are listening to this today that's made it to the end. Here's the little nugget. If you change in your everyday life every single sentence that contains the word want and you turn it into the word choose, tell me how your life changes in 7 days. Because it's going to change dramatically. It's going to change the way you think about things. It's going to change the way you do things. It's going to change your ownership of things. It's going to get rid of that victim mentality that all of us has. It's going to put you in the driver's seat. Just change that one word. See what it does in your life. And then imagine what could happen if you changed all of them. That's what I got for today, guys. As always, I'll drop in the comments my link to my book, The Power of Intent, where I put all of these things together. It is one of the world's first interactive reading experiences where you can read the book online, and right there after each chapter, click a link that can take you to my AI Don Fungi, who you can have a chat with about the chapter you just spoke about to get into more depth on these topics that I'm sharing with you guys as well. Obviously, I'm also available to take the conversation further. But yeah, grab the link below, get your hands on The Power of Intent. You can understand why a lot of people are not talking about this, because it's not the easiest thing to sell, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it is that little key that nobody tells you so that you know how to manifest the life of your dreams. It's the little missing piece that anybody can use to create absolutely everything. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And check you guys on Thursday for my next live at 11 again. Ciao.